Hi all, it's Christy, and as you can see, I have windows open, and I don't know if you can hear it, so you may be hearing the shh of the wind, so please be patient. Also, I have papers blowing everywhere, so don't be surprised if something just suddenly flies in front of me. Now, today's video is really important to me, and I think to most sellers. Now, this video, before I even start, I have to say that I have two iPads, one here, and an iPhone with information that I'm going to read to you on it. And, yeah, I'm playing with my hair, sorry. And I may look down a lot to look at them, and I'm sorry that I'm not looking at you. And I may get quiet for a second while I look at something because my brain tends to sometimes fry and go somewhere else if I try to talk and do something at the same time. So please be patient with me. You'll understand it all when I'm done. Now, this video is about sellers' write-ups and whose property it is and what does it mean and who's responsible between sellers and buyers and everything else. Now, a seller that works with companions, they have a write-up, a basic write-up, and we all do it differently. And no one's is better than the others. We just do it differently. And how I do it is I connect to the being or beings that I'm working with, and I do a basic write-up. This is just a general guideline of what this companion does, why they're here, their energy type. And it can be a paragraph, and I've had some that are a page and a half long. It really depends on the type of spirit and what kind of information I feel needs to be known. Now, there are other sellers that they will tell tribes and years of the tribes and deep information that they have researched. Whether I feel that's important or not, it is besides the point. The point is each seller has their own way of writing things, their own energy they connect to. You know, we all work at a different energy level. I tend to work with more white lighted beings and gray beings. I love my gray Middle Earthern beings. I love them. But I have many that are white light and quite divine. And some people may work with the same type of being, but with a different energy level. Now, this doesn't mean that they're not the same type of being, but if you go to someone expecting a white lighted being and you get a dark or a gray, you're going to be upset even though they're all a vampire. So what I'm going to do is read a few of these and explain why it's important for everybody to do their own write-ups. And we'll talk a little bit about plagiarism, some of the sellers that love to steal other sellers' information. And these are not the legit ones. And some that may even do it accidentally, not meaning to. So it may take me a little bit. Please be patient. I have asked permission from both James and Aurora to use some of their write-ups and information, and I will give you their websites where you can find these beings if you're interested. So first, I'm going to start with, I think, Aurora. Yes, Aurora. She's over here on this iPad, and it's plugged in so I don't run it out because I've had it on for so long. Now, one of Aurora's beings really caught my attention, and usually I find that catch my attention by the vessel. This isn't the same for everyone, but for me, it's always the vessel. And she has fabulous vessels, just so you know. And this one, and oh, please excuse my pronunciation, it sucks. And she can clear it up for you because I'm about to murder this word. Abaya. Abaya. A-B-A-I-A. We're going to just call it Abaya. Abaya eel. And this is with a beautiful bracelet, but that's not the point at this time. If you want to see it, she is on Etsy, and her shop is called Mystic Oceans. And you can do a search for shops under the little Etsy bar. You can, it says shop for items or search for items or shops, and it's Mystic Oceans, one word on the search. Mysticoceans. Now this one is the Abaya eel, and it says ferocious entity of protection, alerts of danger, curse removal, hex breaking, and more. And we all tend to give a detailed description of each individual being, but we're going to look mainly for what I'm looking for the purposes, the basic description. Now, this says the Abaya is a huge, ferocious eel spirit found in and around the waters of the Malaysian islands. The Abaya is said to consider all creatures in her native lake, river, or stream as its children, and she protects them furiously against anyone who would harm or disturb them. It is said that those who are foolish enough to try and catch the fish from a lake where the Abaya makes her home are immediately overwhelmed by a tidal wave caused by the thrashing of the Abaya's powerful tail. Quite interesting. And this goes on, and she talks about the legend, and however, it is not a dark entity or one to be feared. She is not a dangerous or evil being, rather one of absolute loyalty and protectiveness toward her keeper. And again, she goes on with her information, and then she has a list of different things that the Abaya works with. Now, excuse me. If someone came up to me and said, I saw this Abaya, and the price is $59.99, and this is the true price, and I don't know if it will show you. That is a beautiful bracelet. If someone came up to me and said, Christy, I want this Abaya eel. I want it. But I can't afford $59.99. Can you do a body binding for me for less or whatever? My answer would be no. Yes, conjurers can connect to anything, just about. But what Aurora has connected to, and the being she is connected to, are Auroras. This is her write-up. And Abaya, is that the name that they shared with her? Is this something that just she works with? You have to watch who you go to for different items. I would never, ever sell an Abaya, or however you pronounce it, eel, ever. An eel, yes, I would work with many different eels. And I would connect, and I could tell you what it was, and you may like mine better than hers, or hers better than mine, and it really doesn't matter. It's what works with you, what connects with you. But the point is, this is her description. And if you see this description as a buyer anywhere else, they are a fraud, they are a plagiarist, they are immoral, and they have no integrity. This is Aurora's write-up, and it's a great write-up. So don't belittle her work, because what's the point if someone else can just take it like that? All right? So this is just one example. Now, her next one, and I like this one, is again, my pronunciation, sorry, female Latvian Psi vampire. And it says third eye gifts, erotic, lucid dreaming, necromancy, much more for $69.99. Again, these are all on Mystic Oceans on Etsy. www.etsy.com/shops/Mystic Oceans. Now, I do vampires. I work with vampires quite often, and a lot of the beings I work with are vampires. And here is part of her description. Psi vampires are unique and wonderful entities, and they have amazing powers of control over natural environment. the name of this being is Brigitte, can help her human host discover hidden powers within him or herself and bring out his or her own psychic talents. The Psy vampire also has the power to help her human keeper obtain all the desires we seek on this plane, whether it's love you're seeking or sexual pleasure, wealth, fame, or power. This entity can help you. Maybe you wish to contact the dead, learn to see the future, predict events, or help others. The Psy vampire can be your ally through it all. Now, many people work with Psy vampires, many, and that's okay. But again, the write-ups of each individual seller are different. Now, mine, and this may take me a second because I actually had it on the wrong one because there was another seller, Jules, who I wanted to do a comparison with, but she unfortunately is sick and would appreciate any healing sent her way. But I couldn't get her permission, and I'm sure she wouldn't mind, but I really prefer permission. I don't want to jump the gun, you know? You never know. Now, my write-up of vampires is this. Vampires are immortal beings that were once human and need the life force of others, mainly humans, to survive. This life force can be blood magic, energy, and auras. Almost anything that keeps us alive and helps them feel energized and whole. Many vampires will show their fangs or vampireness, but most do not. They generally are quite divine in nature and are magnificent protectors. Most, because of their human essence, are easier for us to understand and communicate with. They behave more like we do, and being so gray in nature, we tend to bond and click with them in a manner that we may not with others. Some vampires tend to be more earthy and sexual, while others are quite intellectual and prophetic. No matter their design, vampires are close relatives and bring a different light into our entire being. Now, you see the difference in our writings? Did you hear Aurora mention divine? No. So if you see someone or a write-up of some sort that you want, go to that seller. Don't cheat yourself. Don't cheat the beings. Because if you're wanting something that is more divine or more towards a certain write-up, you don't go to another person to get it. That's just not how it works. It doesn't matter money. It doesn't matter cost. It doesn't matter if you like them or not. It doesn't matter if you know them or not. If they are legit and they have people backing them up and saying these are good people, then you need to go where you're being led. Now, this next one is from James. And I'm really kind of excited about this because James does things that I honestly, everyone thinks because we're conjurers, and I hate that word too, but, because we're people that work with spirit companions, we know everything. We know all the mystical, and we don't. None of us know everything. We know a lot, but we'll never know everything. And James, he works with, okay, I have to get this word right. I probably won't. Sigil. He does sigil work. And I think that's how you pronounce it. And this one is, everyone that works with me knows that I work a lot with animal familiars, spirit animals. I love working with the animals, and I have many different kinds. And people will come to me for customs just for specific animals. And I don't necessarily have a write-up for all of them. I do for some. If I tend to work with them a lot, I'll really connect and get a basic write-up. But most of the time, I don't. And James and his website is www.magick, M-A-G-I-C-K, and A-N-D, mysticism, mysticism.com. And I'm looking at what he has written down as the spirit animal. Now, please, I'm on my cell phone for this one, and it may look a little different and be set up a little different than the computers. So if I say something's in one place and it's somewhere else, just forgive me. It's because I'm on a cell phone. And This one is called the spirit animal, and I'll scroll a little here, and okay. And this one is $77. And his write-up, scroll back down. Okay. A spirit animal is characterized by the mystical bond that it shares with a living person. A form of kinship is often felt between the two that can manifest in a number of ways. Spirit animals are drawn to aid their human counterparts and can play the role of guide, guardian, messenger, or even familiar, depending on the needs of the individual. A person can have one or several unbound spirit animals throughout life, during a specific phase of life, or at specific occasions. It is that connection at the individual level that differentiates the spirit animal from the idea of the totem animal, which tends to symbolize a group or person's identity. However, the same qualities and areas of specialty and wisdom that are associated with a particular totem are also drawn from the collective and manifested through the individual spirit animal. This listing is for one custom conjuration and binding of a sigil-born animal, a spirit animal of your choice. Now, let me see. The sigil-born are fully sentient, extremely active spirits that have been conjured and bound to a piece of original spiritually infused artwork through a series of meditative journeys, visualization rituals, and magical techniques. My particular methodology of sigil-born conjuration is extremely in-depth and highly developed through many years of personal study and practice. I assure you I am quite well-read and well-traveled in regards to the subjects of spirit conjuration, consciousness projection, anchoring, and binding, etc. These subjects truly are my passion and the focus of my life's work. Now, this really sounds interesting. And I know diddly squat about the word sigil-born. I may understand what it is in a different way or different term, but this is really interesting. Now, what I like about this for this video is that you'll see, you can say, okay, he's got this spirit animal and he's got this kind of, vessel. I'm trying to see if I can see the vessel on here. And I think this one is a custom. Yeah, it is. I want you to do this thing for me. Well, most people you go to are not going to know how to do this. They're not even going to know what you're talking about, but they'll tell you. Some people will just say, okay, I'll do it, no problem. And you're not getting what he's giving you. All right? The buyer is just as responsible as the seller to know who they're buying from. Now, of course, if you've never bought from anyone before or a certain person, you're not going to know if it's another person's write-up. And that's not what we're talking about. I'm talking about the people that want something and they want it bad. So they go to, even if it's just their regular favorite seller, I want this, I want this. It is the seller's responsibility to say, I am sorry, but ethically, you need to go here. You need to go to that seller that does it. I can't do it for you. I'll contact them for you. I'll help you. But don't claim, don't let that seller, and don't ask that seller to do something for you that another seller is doing. My energy is very different from Aurora's and James and Jules and anyone else's out there. And there's another seller I want to mention, but I can't lower my thing to do it. The Sons of Satan, something like that. The runner of that. That's what I'm thinking of. We're all different. And an example, if you see something, you say, I want that, I want that, I want that. And that person says, okay, I'll do it. even if it isn't theirs, they'll conjure one up for you, and they're not saying they'll conjure the same thing. If you're expecting that same write-up, that same thing, and it's not theirs, it's plagiarism. Unintended, but it's plagiarism. You cannot allow other sellers, don't even put them in that position, because some people, whether intended or not, they'll do anything to help you. Some will do it just for the money, depending on who they are. And you've taken money out of someone else's pocket. You've taken a spirit, a companion that is not meant for you. If you're really connected to something of a different energy level and you go to someone else with a different energy, you're not getting what you want. There are too many sellers out there, fake ones. All right? We're not talking about all sellers. We're just right now talking about the fake ones. The ones that get in this to think, oh, this is a great way to make money, and I'm going to make lots of money. And I've known lots of other sellers that have had their complete write-ups stolen and posted and claimed as their own. As buyers, you boycott them. If they're legit, why do they need to use somebody else's write-up? And I'm sorry, this infuriates me more than anything. And it hurts people. And when someone makes an accident, because it's such a touchy subject in this field, when someone makes an accident and may mean no harm at all and is listing things, another seller will say, that's mine. Why are you selling that? Or why are you doing that write-up? And I've done it. I went over. I was like, whoa, I am not happy. It's because you work so hard and you put your heart and soul in this. And for somebody else to take credit of any kind for all that work you do, for all that connecting, for all that love and passion, it's heartbreaking. So if a buyer knowingly asks another seller to do the same write-up, or purchases a being other than a resell, purchases a being with a description from another seller, you are just as guilty of that plagiarism. And some people copyright and trademark their beings. You know, my soul line, trademark. It's mine. No one else can use that. You know, I know somebody else copyrighted fairy dust. Now that's foolish because even TV shows use fairy dust. But there are certain things that are just not okay to copy. And there are certain beings that only one person works with because nobody else used a term until you came around. So it's not okay. And that's not to say that, oh, this person can only do vampires, and this person can only do psi vampires, and this person can only do dragons. No, there's so many different types. And some are very generalized. I am talking about the basic write-ups of any type. And I'm talking about like my unigons, or my ligons, or my pussycat goddess, or my butterfly goddess. Now, if I saw somebody with a butterfly or pussycat goddess, I would lose my mind. It's not right. And it's thievery. And it's plagiarism, whether intentional or unintentional. And this is something that as buyers, you're just as responsible for as we are. Now, again, this doesn't mean if you came to me and you've never heard of me and you've never heard of somebody else and you need to go inspect everything. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying if things are blatantly obvious or you're asking for it. For example, my Giza dragons. I had a client come and do a soul line reading, and I told them that they were a Giza dragon in one life. And for my soul lines, I usually will put the description of that being if it's something that I work with. And then he wrote me back and he was so excited. And he's like, yeah, somebody just told me they're going to conjure it for me. Wait a minute. And I told him, no, you're not. That's mine. If you want it done, you'll have it done by me. You don't give my write-up to someone else and say, conjure this for me. That's not cool. And they immediately, oh, okay. And they came to me. You know, as the seller, we can't be afraid to speak up for ourselves. And we can't be afraid to go to another seller and say, hey, there's been a boo-boo made here. And keep it between ourselves. We don't need to go over to the world and tell everybody about it. And you, as the buyer, have the right to ask for something, but make sure you ask from the right people. And if you don't know, don't be afraid to ask. Many of us may know whose write-up that is. You know, say, hey, I saw this write-up, but I'm not sure who it was. Do you know who does these? And some may say, oh, I do it. And we may do similar. Here's my write-up, my description. You can do this, or you can go ask someone else for that exact write-up. That's how you do it. That's how you keep yourself safe and the seller safe and the meta world, in an ethical place, because we are an ethical community. Many people may not think it, but this is how you stay ethical, by being the buyers and the sellers working together. Now, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I have had some people writing and sending in questions, and I will be doing videos on those, and I have some more ideas coming up. I hope this all made sense, and I hope the wind wasn't too loud or my dog snoring, but I hope you all have a lovely, wonderful, and blessed day, and much love and big hugs. Bye.